Hello and welcome to the Key Stage 4 Maths lesson. So this week we're going to be looking at algebra, and in particular, first of all, we're going to be looking at substitution, so to be able to substitute into expressions. Then we're going to move on to something called inverse operations, and then we're going to apply the knowledge that you've learned from the substitution and inverse operations to be able to solve an equation. So that's what we'll be looking at today. So, substitution. Where else have you heard the word substitution before? Now, most people think of sport, in particular football, where substitution means that you swap one player for another. So substitution is essentially a swap. So we swap something, one thing for another. In algebra, it means that you replace a letter with a number. So you swap a letter for a number. And the key thing to remember is that a number and a letter next to each other means that they are multiplying each other. So here's an example. 3a means 3 times whatever a is. So that's the important key information to remember, that a number and a letter next to each other without a gap means times or multiply. So how can we use this? So I'm going to give you an example. I own a cafe, and I'm going to use this formula to work out how much to charge for my drinks. So the price I'm going to charge for my customers equals the cost it costs me to make the drink plus the profit. And I want to make 50p profit from every drink that I sell. So if a cup of tea costs me 20p to make, so I have to buy my tea bag, I have to buy the water, I have to boil the water, I have to buy the milk. So I've worked it out, it's going to cost me 20p to make every cup of tea. How much would the price be that I'd sell it to my customer? So I want to make 50p profit. It's cost me 20p. So the price equals the cost, which is 20p, plus the profit, which is 50p, which equals 70p. So I'd sell it to my customer for 70p. If you want to pause the screen and give this one a try before we go through it. Okay, if you need a bit longer, pause the screen. If not, we'll go through the answer. So a hot chocolate cost me 30p to make. What would the price be for 2 hot chocolates? So if it cost me 30p and I want to make 50p profit, that means I'm selling it for 80p. Because I'm selling 2 of them, I have to times that by 2, which means I would sell the drinks for £1.60. Give yourself a big tick if you got £1.60. And now I want you to give these a try. So in the bold is all the key information you need, how much it costs to make certain drinks, and I want you to apply that knowledge to the questions that's in the boxes at the bottom. So just want to pause the screen for a few moments, and can you answer those questions, please? Okay, well done if you've done those. Remember that you can always send your work in to me at the Edge Academy, or you can email it to me if you want to take a picture and email it to me, and I will get back to you with marking and feedback of it. So remember to please send in your work if you've completed it. Okay, this time I've taken away all the words. So this time I've gave you A, B and C, and you need to work out what the value of D is. So I will give you an example with the first one. In the blue box, 2C, so 2 C's equals A plus B plus D. So we know that C equals 4, so 2 C's are going to equal 8. So 8 equals A, which is 2, plus B, which is 3, plus something that we don't know. So 8 equals 2 plus 3, which equals 5, plus something we don't know. So how do we get from 5 to 8? You add 3, so that means that D would become 3 for the first one. So 2C equals A plus B plus D. D would equal 3. Can you please give those a try for me, please? So pause the screen and give those a try. Okay, so as you probably worked out, we're getting harder and harder throughout this. It will start off quite easy and eventually you'll be solving equations. So we're starting off relatively easy and then building it up slowly. So well done if you've done those. Remember to send your work in to me if you have completed it. If A equals 3, find the value of y when y equals 5a plus 4. So replace a with the number 3. So remember that 5a means 5 times a. So y equals 5 times 3, add 4. So calculate the value of y. 5 times 3 is 15. 15 add 4 equals 19. So there's another example for you on substitution. And we're now going to move on to something called inverse operations. So before we get into what inverse operations are, I want you to go through the vocabulary of it first. So multiply is your times tables, multiplying numbers. Divide means to separate or to separate into parts, so splitting something equally. Add means that you join something on to something else to increase the size, number or amount, so you can add something on. And subtract, so taking away, so you take one number away from another. And then we've got something called inverse. An inverse is a posh word for opposite, so the opposite direction, order or effect. So using inverse operations, inverse means the opposite. Operations is your add, take away, multiply and divide. So the opposite of the operation. So the opposite of adding is taking away. The opposite of taking away is adding. The opposite of multiplying is divide, and the opposite of divide is multiplying. That is the key information you need to remember. So if you want to pause the screen and make a note of it, you're more than welcome to. But that is the key information. So the opposite. So add is the same as take away equals add, multiply equals divide, and divide equals multiply. They are the opposite. So how are we going to answer these questions? So I'm going to show you how to do it. So we're using something called inverse operations, the opposite. So the question 1, 485 add something equals 847. So you could use trilemma, but that's the long way around to do it. So what I'm going to show you is the inverse operations. So the way we do it is we start with the 847. We work backwards and do the opposites. What's the opposite of adding 485? That is taking 485 away. So 847, take away 485 will give you the missing number. So can you start at one end, work backwards and do the opposite? Can you give those 3 questions a try, please? Okay, well done. This time I've put multiply and divide in. So this time it's exactly the same process. We start one end, work backwards into the opposite, except this time you have to use multiply and divide. So can you pause the screen and give those ones a try, please? Okay, well done. Remember you can send your work in to me at the Edge Academy, so please send your work in. Okay, so this time I've gave you some pictures on a scale. So this is how we can apply inverse operations to help solve a problem. So in the first one you can see we've got a strawberry plus 4 equals 10. So I want to do exactly the same, except this time there's the scales in the middle, and I want you to start with 10, work backwards and do the opposite and tell me how much the strawberry weighs. So start with 10. What's the opposite of adding 4? That's subtracting 4. So 10 take away 4 equals 6. That means that the strawberry equals 6. Can you try the other 5 questions, please? So pause your screen and try the other 5 questions. Okay, well done. So here now I'm going to give you some examples of one-step equations. And these are the same as the scales that you've just done, except this time I've taken the pictures away. So this time we've got something plus 5 equals 14, so x plus 5 equals 14. We start with 14, and we work backwards and do the opposite. So 14, working backwards, so plus 5, what's the opposite of adding 5? That's take away 5. So 14 take away 5, that would equal 9. So using that information you've just learned about inverse operations, can you give those a try for me, please? If you're not so confident, start with question 1. If you're a bit more confident, start with question 5. If you think you've got it, can you start with question 9? So give those a try, please. Okay, well done. Remember, you can always send your work in to me at the Edge Academy, and I will get it marked and feedback returned. So well done if you've done that. Please send in your work. And there are some more for you to try there. So if you want to pause your screen and if those want to try for me. If it's, for example, in the red, the very bottom question, if it's something over 5, that means divided by. So you have to do the opposite of dividing. There's your little hint. So can you give those a try, please? Okay, well done. So well done if you've done those. Please send them in to me. I'm now going to talk you through how to solve something with x on both sides, with an unknown on both sides. And the way to do this is we have to move all the unknowns, so all the x's or all the letters, together by doing inverse operations. So there's our question. The first thing I need to do is get all the x's on one side, so 5x and 2x. It's easier to get rid of the 2x, so whatever I do to one side I've got to do to the other. So if I'm taking 2x away from one side, I've got to take 2x away from the other. That would leave me with 3x, so 5x take away 2x, which is 3x, take away 4 equals 14, because we've taken away the 2x on the right hand side. So that's what it leaves me with. Step 3. Move all the known values together by doing inverse operations. All the numbers we can move. So 3x take away 4 equals 14. So we can move the minus 4 by adding 4. So remember, whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Simplify it all, so put it all together. So that would leave me with 3x equals 18. So 3 times something equals 18. The last step would be to divide both sides by 3. To divide both sides by 3, which would give me the answer of x equals 6. So here are some for you to try for yourself. Remember to follow the steps that we've just demonstrated. So if you're feeling confident, go straight onto the green level 6 questions. If you're not so confident, start with level 5 ones. But can you please try those ones? Remember to follow the 5 steps. So pause the screen and try those ones. Well done, and remember, always send your work into the Edge Academy where it will get marked and feedback will be given. So please send in your work if you have completed it. So well done. That brings us to the end of the lesson. So I was going to go through the learning objectives which we did today. So to be able to substitute into expressions, that was the first thing that you did. To be able to swap a number for a letter. To know what an inverse operation is. So do you know what inverse means, what an operation is? And have you been able to apply that knowledge of inverse operations to solve an equation, whether that's the one-step equation or the more difficult ones that you just did at the end. So well done, and remember, please send in your work to the Edge Academy. Thank you.